Hello and welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. My name is Robin Finney. I am your Oracle, Intuitive, and Authenticity Coach. And every Wednesday I come to you live to bring you an Oracle message. So I got a lot of things stirring. It's a lot. It's August. We're here in a new month, and I don't know about you, but there's been a shift occurring. Over the past few days, we were, just going through a lot of energies, and some of you may still be feeling that, and you may be in the space of riding the waves, and where it's like one day you're high and you're feeling that, and the next day you're low. And yesterday I posted the question on several questions around self-love, and it's like, we can love ourselves during the highs, but can we love ourselves during the lows? We can love ourselves when people are praising and admiring us. Can we love ourselves when they're not? And so there's these questions around self-love that have been showing up more presently in my life. And a lot of times what I'm experiencing is what is being experienced out there on a collective level as well. There's like a common energy that we all can go through and experience at time. And that's what I love about humanity, is that really is what connects us. And especially in the dark times, that's when we tend to connect on a deeper level. And so how can you continue to show up as you, authentically you, inside of all of that, inside of the good, good and bad, I don't really like those terms, but instead of like the high vibrations and the low vibrations around those spaces. And I had a question come to me the other night around, how long am I going to continue to play this game? And that's the question I want to pose to you right now, because there's certain things in your life that maybe patterns that keep repeating, and maybe you shift out of it for a little bit, but then it comes back, and it's familiar. It can be like, okay, something's shifting and you're like, oh, everything's great. But then the moment it goes back, then you're just back in that energy again. And you're starting to think like those thoughts again about, oh, I'm not good enough. It's not happening for me. It's never going to happen. And just like doubt. And so I kind of hit a breaking point. I like to think of it as my rock bottom. And not to lighten that or take away from it, but I had an experience on Friday night where, I just had something occur, and I went through my process and was really feeling the emotions and had a nice massive sob. And I felt a difference this time, because one, I was like, ooh, I'm not having a panic attack. That's a plus. Maybe it was borderline anxiety attack, but I was still like able to kind of witness it as the observer and allow myself to be through it, or just be in it. And then just like ask questions and just put it out there to the universe, to spirit, to my guides, and really ask like, okay, what is happening? Why does this keep happening? And not in an accusatory way, but really for me to like look at the mirror with myself and my life. And so I just started looking at like, okay, well, where am I continuing to play small? Because a lot of times, especially if you're in business with yourself or you're self-employed, we all reach moments of financial woes and financial troubles. And I've definitely been on that journey. I've been on that roller coaster for a long time. And let me tell you, it is very uncomfortable. It's confronting, and it's not the funnest experience when it's like money comes in different waves, and it's not as steady as when you have like a set job or career that's just the money's coming in constantly and all the time. And so I kind of hit a point last week, and so what I was looking at inside of that was really like shining the mirror on myself and looking at like, okay, what is it that I'm afraid to really step into? Because for myself, I keep getting a message to really claim my spot, claim myself as leader, stand up inside of that. And I really sat with that. And so when I say rock bottom, for me, it felt like, okay, this is it. This is the lowest, and I don't want to go any lower than this anymore. I'm done. I am done with that space. So now what? And that is where the question is right now. And so it's choosing to look at the hard stuff. And it's my friend and mentor and colleague, coach Amber Sweener says, like, what is the right hard thing right now to work on and to look at in your life? And so that's kind of the lens that we're coming from right now, especially as we're stepping into a new month and we're feeling like the intensity around us of everything that's happening, like astrologically. And reach out, my friend Eileen Mello, definitely I've had her as a guest here before. Subscribe to her newsletter, or her email list rather, because she has so much juicy information around that I can't really speak to myself in that arena. But there's a lot of energy that's been moving, and as we're in this creative space and we're in this space of like tuning in more, resting, giving back to ourselves while still continuing to show up inside of everything, show up authentically in your own way, there's that question. So I invite you for this month to really look at, like, where in your life are you continuing to have a pattern that maybe it's been serving you, but it shows up now and you're just like, why? I'm tired of this. And it begs that question of, how long are you going to continue to play that game? And what is the benefit of it? And then really, what is it costing you to continue playing it? And for me, what's costing me is literally finances. And it's costing me just who I am, and depriving you, the world, of my gifts, my magic, by continuing to like hold back in that way. So I'm going to have some shifts coming. I've already have shifts coming, but in terms of my business and where I'm going to be showing up more fully, that's shifting, and I'm really excited about that, to step into that more. And even Wisdom Wednesday, I'm going to explore, and I'd love your feedback around that. Like, what is it that you would love to see with Wisdom Wednesday? But I'm really going to tune in and spend some time looking at how I can show up for all of you in a big, expansive way. And really owning my own intuitive gifts, and knowing that the cards are a tool, and that's what I teach in my Oracle course, which I'll have more information about that soon. But that's really what I teach, is it's a tool to support you, but really it's like supporting you in accessing what you already have inside. So that's kind of where I am right now. So I wanted to share all of that before diving into the messages. And also, it's a time for really stepping into the unknown. And I really do. I'm one of those people which I know so many of the coaches and mentors I surround myself with, they are people who walk the talk, and really, like, the message they're sharing with the world is the message that they're living, and that's me. And so mine is really like journeying with courage into the unknown with curiosity, so that I can really discover and own my authentic self at its fullest expression. And so I'm journeying again on Saturday. This will be my first international trip. I mean, I went to Mexico in February, but this will be my first time traveling to a place I haven't been in a year and a half. And I'm heading to Brazil. So I'm really excited about that. And this is a complete spirit-led trip. I'm following, if you've read The Alchemist, I'm following the omens. I felt a pull there, and I kept receiving signs to go. So I'm following that. And so if you find yourself like, ooh, I would love to do something like that, or maybe it's not a trip, but maybe there is a journey, an internal journey you're wanting to take, or just a transition you're wanting to make in your life, schedule a curiosity call with me and let's explore what that could look like. So I dropped the link in the comments. Okay, so thank you for that 10-minute detour as we tune in. So today I'm pulling from the Archetypes Guidebook, And we're really going to look at what archetype will support you throughout the month of August, and specifically around that question of how long am I going to play this game? And so this archetype is going to shine a light on your shadows, and it's going to shine a light on areas that maybe you're not fully owning or claiming yourself, or maybe it's something that is very present for you and it's time for you to release. So that's the archetypes. That's what we're going to tune into today. Whew. All right, take a big sigh, big breath, breathe in, and then choose a number, 1, 2, or 3, and that will be your message for this week. Okay, got your message? Awesome. So for my number ones, we're going to tune in and see which archetype wants to come for you. Oops, those are all flying. Hold on. All right, if you're watching live or you're catching the replay, take a deep breath. You may be a little stubborn today. I'm feeling it. It's like wanting, the message is like, okay, just come, just come. All right. Okay, number ones, the prayer. Oops, there we go. So this is one of the archetypal tools for you to use that will really support you on your journey. So for my number ones, I really invite you to listen from a place of where you can maybe step into this more and really trust and see what wants to come from it. Yeah, and we'll dive in there. Okay, the prayer, number ones. The worship, the reverence, the homage. What is prayer? When are we in a state of prayer and when are we not? To whom and what do we pray? Archetypally, the practice of prayer has been with us since the dawn of time as a remedy for the omnipresent, self-centered thinking that spins us toward illusion. Prayer leads us beyond our ego as we move from our little story to the big one. Some say we are in a state of prayer anytime we are not in the center of our own thoughts. Others say prayer is a natural result of gratitude. Perhaps it is simply surrender or service. Whatever prayer is for you, this card reminds us of its importance. Get quiet, low, humble, and soft. Bow and touch the ground as your heart lifts to the sky. Though it may be uncomfortable, it is time. Nothing else will do. And when light, offering to be of service, asking for guidance. And when dark, expecting results, self-aggrandizement. And to go deeper, ask to be of service. And then it reminds you and asks of you to experiment with the act of bowing down. Nearly all spiritual traditions make a practice of prostration. And every song, kiss, breath, word can become a prayer. It is a feeling, not an action. Consider the ancient mantra, Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. I bow to the creative consciousness within. I bow to the teacher within. Whew, that is such a beautiful message. So number ones, this is really inviting you to take some time and connect with your higher self, your higher power, connect with the earth and the heavens above, and just really allow yourself to be in that state of surrender, gratitude, asking, receiving, whatever that looks like to you, and of service. And so I always like to think of service like when I'm really focused on what's not working in my life or where maybe I'm falling short. I like to shift it and look at like, okay, how can I take what I'm going through and really allow it to be of service to others, or how can I support others in service to this thing? And so that's where I was on Friday. I just kind of fell to my knees and just laid down in prayer and surrendered, and that shift, it's like that energy is happening. So allow yourself to really lean into that more. So this message could be showing up as a shadow aspect to where maybe it's something that you've let go of, And maybe you need to find it again and love on it some more and redefine your definition of prayer and what that looks like. Or maybe it is present to you and it's just asking you, like, how can you expand upon that more? So for my number ones, that is your invitation for August. It's a beautiful, beautiful archetype, so I look forward to hearing. Please drop in the comments and let me know how that resonates with you, and what are your practices? What are your ways that you really connect, and what does prayer mean to you? Okay, number twos. Let's see. Ooh. All right, yours just came right out today. Okay, so for my number twos, your archetype, this is a place, an archetypal place. Oh, I always get the camera off. The river. So let's tune in and see what the river holds for my number twos this week. The river, the stream, the flow, the current. There is a reason so many rituals of change and rebirth take place in the river. It is forgiveness embodied in physical form. Without asking anything in return, the river washes away what is no longer necessary, smoothing over sharp edges and accepting all of our mistakes and grievances. Once we step in, we are no longer in control. The river carries us farther down the stream of transformation than we plan to go. Its waters have a special gift for reflecting back to us a new and dreamlike vision. Once the tears have passed, we see ourselves as we haven't before, with a little more lightness, grace, and fluidity. Keep in mind that the you that stands within the river is the real you, full of deep emotion and potential. Nothing to hide, nothing to judge. May you drink in the sight of your true self. When light, acceptance, grace, reflection, forgiveness. When dark, torment of emotions, flooding, overwhelm. And to go deeper, Barry invites you to look at Barry Lopez's River Notes and Ronnie Horn's Still Water. You can only resist the river for so long. Eventually, it will pull you toward change. So you may as well get in with style and grace. The river is emotion. When you are in its current, you will know it by bursting forth in tears, laughter, song, despair. All the emotions flow in its current. So for my number twos, your archetype for August is the river. And it's a beautiful month. For those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, and say if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it might be a little cold for the river, but still, this is an invitation if you want to plunge in. But it's an invitation. I invite you, if you have a river nearby or one that you can journey to, take some time and go to the river and just sit and watch it. Just watch how it flows. And if you don't have access to a river, maybe find a movie or a video on a nature channel where you can watch a river. The river runs through it. I loved that movie when I was younger. And just witness what happens in the river. And when I was in Sedona on retreat a couple weeks ago, one of our experiences that we went on was a kayaking trip down a river, and it was all around receiving. And Meredith Vesh, who was the amazing retreat leader, she invited us to just allow the river to take us and trust the flow. And let me tell you, when I first got in, I was trying to control it. I was trying to control the flow. I was trying to control how I was steering and everything. And then finally I was just like, no, just surrender and let go. And it was so much more fun when I did that than trying to control. So the question for my number twos is, where in your life are you trying to control the flow and trying to stop the flow? Or where are you trying to control which emotions come out and which stay hidden? And where can you really invite in some grace and just extra love around that for yourself, and allow yourself to really express whatever's there. Express the highs, the lows, the in-between, all of it, and allow yourself to be carried by the flow of life, and just trust that it's all happening for you. Whew. So that's for my number twos. And finally, for my number threes, let's see what wants to come this week. Okay, number threes. Ooh, Eros. So this is one of the archetypal initiations, and this is a broader concept. So for my number threes, you're being really invited into a space of contemplation, reflection. This could be a really great time to take this message and maybe take a personal retreat. We're exploring that in the Soulful CEO group that I'm in with Amber Sweeter right now. And we're choosing a time this month to take a half day or a full day and really reflect on something. So that's an invitation for you and for all of you as well. But especially for number threes, since this is an initiation card, you can think of it, the comparison is like to one of the major arcanas in Tarot. So it's a bigger concept, and I invite you to really just listen from that space of depth and take some time to explore. So for my number threes, Eros, love as desire, eroticism, sensuality. Though Eros can be depicted as unbridled sexuality and eroticism, a more contemplative understanding of this archetypal energy leads us to the root of desire itself. What do we long for? Why are we awakened by love? What makes us hesitate in the face of intimacy? Eros reconnects us with the primal longing to merge with another human being, nature, music, art, plants, food, or anything that we perceive we are separate from. Eros allows us to momentarily unite. Our heart embraces otherness, and in doing so, we further understand our own. Our life force awakens. This card reveals an inevitable initiation into love's labyrinth. You may find yourself swirling in a new territory of desire and sensuality. Explore the labyrinth with a curious and honest heart. And remember, though the way is circuitous, you are always being led toward its center. When light, passion, playfulness, sexual health. When dark, madness, projection, obsession. And go deeper and invites you to read Love Sonnet number 11 by Pablo Neruda, and Basket of Figs by Ellen Bass. Plato reminds us that Eros can be experienced as platonic love. It is activated when we witness beauty and truth in the world, when our barriers soften. And the Hindu goddess Lalita, she who plays, can help activate Eros energy. She is also known as Kameshvari, Empress of Desire. So for my number threes, this is a juicy one. So I really invite you to take some time this month and really explore what's desire. What is desire for you? What is pleasure for you? What is pleasurable to you? And then from that, and that looks different for every person. Like today, one of my pleasures is I went and bought a Honey Mama's chocolate bar because it's so divine and rich, and I just love like taking a small piece and just really like indulging in its flavors. And so maybe it's something with food, maybe it's something in connection with your own sexuality and connecting with yourself on a deeper level or with another person. Maybe it's being in nature and just allowing yourself to be in that experience and basking in that glow in that way. And so I really invite you to take some time this month to explore with curiosity what wants to come with that. And if you are someone who has been shamed for having desires or pleasures in your past, and this feels a little like, I'm feeling a little guarded, like closed off to this, spend some time really loving on your inner child and talk to that part of yourself and know that it's like, okay, this is how I was conditioned and this is what I was taught, but what do I really believe now? Like, what is true for me? What is true for me that is not true for anyone else? So I invite you to take some time this week or this month to really explore that and give yourself that space. And that's the invitation for all of you to really take these archetypes. The archetypes are something for you to spend time with, get to know, ask questions of it. So I really invite you to take these messages and really work with them throughout the month of August. Write them down where you can see where it's present. I'll drop the messages in the comments so that you have them. And if you would love more support and guidance around just diving in deeper with this, then I invite you to book a deep clarity session with me, and we will dive further into this and see what other archetypes want to come to support you as well on your journey. Or you can book a curiosity call with me if you want to explore what going on a journey with me looks like. So thank you so much for today's Wisdom Wednesday. I know it went longer than it typically does, but I was just really feeling the energy and the potency of just sharing what's there for me, and sharing inside of that question of how long are we going to play this game? So if your message that showed up is triggering in any way, then it's uncomfortable, but that's actually a good thing, because it's allowing you to look deeper at that and bring that question into play as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to connecting with you and sharing my journey in Brazil and what wants to come. I'm excited, and I know just as much as you do about my journey. Very little. I'm just trusting the flow like the river. So thank you for tuning in. Have a beautiful rest of your day, morning, wherever you are, your week, and a beautiful start, exciting start to your month. Thank you. Take care, and we will talk again soon.